It's not that I'm great as who I am, but I'm great because who I am not. That is the realization. And that realization is that there's nothing other than my own self. And every one of you is a walking testimony of that. Every one of you is nothing other than that. And every experience is a confirmation of that, because that is made out of that trinity of the experience with the perceiver as that what is here exemplifies the will of your own creator. So the experience, in other words, the composite of the experience is irreducible. I will allow myself to have this one more critical stub. Spiritual teachers who say that there is things beyond experience speak out of imagination or plain language, which means nothing. Because nothing is beyond experience. Because if it is beyond experience, we cannot speak about this. It's pure speculation. It doesn't belong and is not verifiable. And if it's not verifiable, why should I take it on trust? Yoga is not taking anything on trust. So therefore, we do not speak about things, how things might be, how we wish them to be, how this and that. But we want to find out, what is this? What is this current moment? What is this embodiment? Who am I as this body, as this individual? And that is, I will invite all of you to understanding what really Tantra is all about. Tantra is this. You are the walking universe. At every moment in time, there was no time when you were not. You sleep as universe, walk as universe, eat as universe, run as universe. Whatever you do, you pick up yourself as universe. You go down as universe. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. There's no pilgrimage to perform. You cannot go anywhere out of here. It's the end of all seeking, the end of all journeys, the end of all that one could have hoped for, to prolong this, to prolong all this, because there's also this inevitable trying to prolong it. There is this hope that somehow in this search that I can somehow prolong it, and that is nothing other than also not the calamity that belongs to any of you. It doesn't belong to the individual, because the individual here is a hidden dimension of the awareness, consciously undergoes transformation so as to enjoy the world. Please listen to this. It's the most important uttering that I'm going to say. Nothing more important than that. There's only two modes of perception. There's only two modes of expression. There is the inward and outward modes, because they constitute and they represent the two modes, the mode of silence and the mode of self-expression. When that's unspeakable, unfathomable silence expresses itself, that's what we call the world. That's what we call perception. That what is known through the senses, mind, and that's what is known as the world. Naturally, it recedes at the background. It is not known at that time. It cannot be known, because it undergoes that at will. And when enjoyed that, savored that, it then has that introverted mode. And that introverted mode brings the cessation. And all there is silence, pure silence. So you can see this dynamic here, one at the expense of the other. Do you see that there is this dynamic? I can allow myself a little bit of that, just spice it up, just a little bit. So in other words, Shiva closes eye, Shiva opens an eye. Shiva closes the eye of self-awareness and the world comes into being. The whole entire world comes into being. This is Shiva as the world, the body of Shiva. Shiva opens the eye of inner perception and the world is annihilated. But it cannot exist at the very same time. Do you understand why? You either sit down and watch a movie and you immerse yourself in the movie, or what's the point? What is the point? The whole point to immerse yourself in whatever you do. You immerse yourself in whatever you do. If you are not immersed, then you are caught in a gagaland of neither here nor there. But even that is not true, because there is only introverted and extroverted perception, or introverted and extroverted modes, nothing else. This is a principal understanding. Principal understanding. This is also a non-dual, a true non-dual understanding par excellence. In both cases, it's nothing other than awareness. In both cases, it's nothing other than your own very dear self. Whether this is the world as you're experiencing it, with that world of your experiencing as you limited individual, contracted to the point of this, so and so, with a calamity of story, everything, and then the multiplicity of perceptions, because it's all subject now to this seeing and seeing. Or all this seized and withdrawn into pure abyss of your own self. These are just two different modes of your own self. They are not two different realities. None of them is lesser than the other, because if, for a moment, we presuppose that awareness did not express itself as the world, then awareness is nothing but left to oblivion of its own self. It doesn't know itself. It has no way of knowing itself, because the way of knowing itself is through the body as this world. And this is the novel understanding with which the highest Tantra speaks of this. That's what Shiva willingly undergoes. It contracts itself to its own infinity, so as here and now experience can take place. Because without that contraction, this here and now cannot take place. But neither is more important, nor is truer than the other. This is of crucial understanding. This is also where adjustment is made that no, the world is an illusion, the world is appearance. Yes, we can go and give it a scrutiny to the classical Advaita Vedanta and how it got into Neo-Advaita. We can also speak about many spiritual traditions which will kind of agree on that this is what we experience is ephemeral, in fact doesn't exist. Nothing, it's sense of touch. What is it? Sense of smell, what is it? Where is it located? And so forth. So none of this is really. Experiences has one unique feature. Experience is and is gone. One moment is here and the next is already something else. Nothing can be pinned down. Furthermore, the scientists and this and that, you can go into this, like there's nothing that we can call actually what it used to be called. Nothing. It's all vacuum. So therefore, adjustment here is precisely to the rehabilitation of the validity of this experience, validity of this embodiment, validity of this world, because it also has an important repercussions in terms of what we are going through as a collective. So in this way, I'm speaking now with the concession out of the spiritual discourse to what is the value of that in its application to the current moment in time. Because if the world is ephemeral and doesn't exist, if this is not real, if this is some kind of epiphenomenon of illusion, appearance, whatever that may be, then its existence is kind of an oxymoron to speak about. One moment is here, next moment is gone. It's all figment of my imagination. Why should I be bothered if tomorrow we blow up this world in a nuclear holocaust? Because even that nuclear holocaust is still a byproduct of my so-called imaginary world, which never came into being. Come on, folks, is it not? Is it not what spiritual discourse provides us with? If nothing takes place, why would I concern myself with that which never came into existence? So therefore, what I'm proposing here, what I'm suggesting here, it has value. The value of the absolute is only through the value of the individual. No other value there is. If there is a value of that which is unfathomable, it can only be known through that which is finite and fathomable. There's no other way. So in other words, it's also a timely and necessary rehabilitation of what this existence is. And if this is not done in a kind of halfway understanding, it is still as much non-dual, as much Advaita as anything. In fact, this is true oneness. Because the two modes, introverted versus extroverted, silence and dynamic, silent and dynamic, are one and the only reality. That one is capable of reflecting the other so that one can recognize oneself in the world of one's own projection. Nothing is here that is real or unreal. These are but categories of the language. The words real and unreal make no sense. They don't stand, they don't mean anything, they don't represent anything beyond of just what the grammar here of any spoken written language is for. This is a very helpful and practical understanding as well, because it simultaneously removes the possibility for holding some nervous tension of where am I in this? You remove that thorn of yourself out of it, you see? Not only you remove the thorn, right? Like in the Rumi's kind of analogy, that poetic. You need a thorn to remove the thorn. But in this case, you remove yourself as the thorn in this. Not that you remove yourself, that you don't exist. What you remove is the superimposition. When the superimposition is removed, that superimposition of perceived sense of limitation as your individuality here and what it represents, what remains is nothing but awareness. And that awareness shines forth, irrespective whether it is that what is beyond manifestation always, as that pure silence, as that Shiva, or as the awareness that shines as objects of phenomenal perception, because it's one and the same. They are not two different realities. Nor, this is a very important adjustment, nor the world of form and phenomena, the body of Shiva, is less in iota of being Shiva than the Shiva of silence. And that's what it means. Everything is made out of that. Everything is that. Therefore, I am that. And that's all there is.